I'm saying?
Oh, I need to.
Oh
After I'll
hold
talk to
on.
you later about something.
Hold on. What's going on, people? It is Saturday night, and next podcast is live. Guys, I have been waiting all day to do this show. We have a bunch of great topics. We have an incredible panel here. A couple people. One person has been a special guest before, and the other one, this is his first time on my channel, and I gotta say, I am really, really excited about this. So before we get into the intros, huge shout out to everybody in the chat. What is going on, people? It is good to see you guys. Yes, AP Battle Toads. You already know I cannot wait to play that little arcade game. I'm gonna tear it up. I'll probably get all the achievements. We got to see what's going on with it. I'll probably get all the achievements. I am excited for that. But like I said, before we get into the intros, if you guys can just do me a favor, because YouTube, they don't like to do their job. So if you could just smack that thumbs up button, share the show out, whether you talk games on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere that Predator usually is on social media. Share the link out. Let people know we are going in on some of the hottest topics, gaming topics, throughout the week. And let me get into the introductions. And guys, I didn't know if this panel member was going to show up, but I think you know who I'm talking about, because everybody in the chat, your lights are flickering right now. It is time to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring, the Don.
Yeah, you don't even know if it's GRG or if it's Devin the Gamer or next podcast. You never know if I'm going to show up. Hell, my wife didn't even know I was going to show up on our wedding day. So that's just how it goes. I'm here. It's a little too long, and I'm excited to get this party rolling.
Nice, brother. I can't wait to. There's a couple topics when I saw you join the hangout. There's one topic in particular that I definitely want to hear your opinion on. But
Hey, but did you see the chat? Someone said Battle Dawn.
Dude, can we get a graphic for that?
Oh my gosh, I think we can do that.
Oh my goodness, Don, you need to work overtime. Oh yeah,
Mega's going to tell you I owe him a couple things right now first before I do any other projects. So.
Oh no, he's got a backlog, people. So maybe in the not too distant future we might see a Battle Don. But moving on, guys. Returning to the show, he was a special guest, and I gotta say, when it came down to it, Predator said he couldn't make it, because he had to do the happy wife, happy life thing, and he's out with his better half right now, hopefully having fun. Crispy Bomb had to work, and I put out the distress signal, and I gotta say, this man answered the call so freaking quick. I am so happy to have him on the show, my brother Centurion.
What's going on, guys? It is awesome to be sitting here with the Don, K Mega, Dirk Griggity, and especially you, Xbot. I was excited when you sent me that message asking me to kind of swoop in for a surprise podcast. I was like, hell yeah, I need to be there. This is going to be awesome.
You better be careful, because once you say yes, then man, you are in that list of people. Whenever I'm having an issue and I need somebody, I might call you just to randomly go live about like one topic or something like that. So,
dude, it's all good. I am always down to podcast.
Nice, brother. And I will. You know what? I'm gonna save the best for last. So we're gonna go with coming live from the 405 and fresh with his Jerry curls. He just wants to talk to the intelligent gamer out there, K Mega.
I mean, with me having the jury curl and with my boy Xbox 448 having the cocaine fingernails, I'm on good. So everybody, man, we taking it back to the 70s and 80s, baby. You know what I'm saying? Rick James. And you know what I'm saying? We in this bitch. Anyway, what's going on, everybody, man? Glad to be here, just like as always. And ready to have a good show, man. And appreciate the guests stopping through.
Brother, I thought my fingernail thing, I thought that was like there a while ago and it just faded away. Why'd you got to bring it? You brought it back, man.
Don't worry about it. I got a rat tail. Let's keep it rolling.
Don's got a mullet. That confirmed.
Oh
I
man,
got a starter mullet. It's what they call it.
well, they don't
Let's keep
call
going.
it a mullet anymore. It's hashtag Angry Otter. It's the Angry Otter now. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. But shout out to Dark Optimus as well. A member of the Next Podcast family. But guys, here it is. Here it is. Like I said, saving the best for last. For the first time on my channel and the first time on Next Podcast, I am proud to bring you an Xbox fan that everybody out there on Twitter knows and loves. Dirt Griggity!
What is going on, man? Thank you for that introduction. I'm excited to be here, and let's talk about these games and some positive Xbox stuff, man. That's what I want to hear, and that's what I want to talk about. Let's do it.
Nice, brother. And since you want to talk about positive Xbox news, let's start with the first topic. Guys, today is a very special day for people who have been running with Xbox from the beginning, because today is the 15th anniversary of a little franchise called Fable. And man, when I saw this on Twitter, I didn't even know it was coming. It just like kind of like snuck up on me, and I was like, wow, man, 15 years this franchise has been out. And I'm gonna go with Dirt on this. Like, Dirt, first off, I gotta hear like some like possible memories from Fable. Did you get into that franchise? Did you play like Fable 1, 2, and 3? And what do you think, like, when you look back? It's like, man, it's 15 years old already.
Well, I might not be the best person to go to about Fable because I wasn't a big Fable guy. I played the first one. I didn't finish it. I did finish the second one, and I didn't really play the third one. But I did like the humor in the franchise. I never liked the graphics for some reason. I always thought the graphics were kind of PS2-ish, or even the original Fable, the graphics wasn't good on the original Xbox. But to see it's 15 years, I think is amazing, and hopefully moving forward, Fable's not dead, and we can get another Fable.
Are you saying they're gonna make another Fable, Dirt?
I don't know. I mean, that's what I heard K-Maker say. I don't know.
Oh my goodness, that would be an absolute like bomb dropped on the industry. I don't think anybody is thinking that they're developing a new Fable right now. So yeah,
Right.
I can't even say that with a straight face, brother. I can't do it, man.
They need to get somebody like Playground Games to do that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
They are pretty experienced with open world, so yeah, I can definitely see that. But Centurion, what about you, man? Are you a Fable fan? Like, let me know.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Fable fan.
All right, what
like, definitely
you
bought
played
them
all
No.
three?
Yeah, I'm actually wanting to find time to play all three again because I bought them for backwards compatibility. I never got the chance to play the Fable Anniversary where they went in and cleaned it up a little bit.
Mhm.
So that's where I want to start. But I would say out of all of them, my favorite one was Fable 2, just because of the idea of like time passing and your character growing along with you as you played the game. And just even the zany, stupid stuff you could do, like marrying somebody and then going off and cheating on her and like leaving her at home with the kids. And I was just like, it was just so interactive. You're just like, this is so freaking stupid, but it's awesome.
Nice. Now, brother, I gotta say, with the franchise, like a lot of things, I know when Fable 1 first was talked about, they were talking about if you accidentally hack a tree, like over time the tree will grow, but it will get a scar. Now, we didn't necessarily get that, but when you look at this franchise, is there anything you think the Fable franchise brought to the gaming industry that might have been, innovative, that like people didn't really think of, or that put a gameplay mechanic out there that maybe other developers tried to kind of latch onto and do on their side? Was there anything that you think of as innovative when you think of the franchise, man?
I would honestly say the one mechanic that not too many games touch very often is the one mechanic I mentioned about a character actually growing over time. Like when you start Fable 2, you're a little boy. As the game progresses, you grow into like a young adult. Then a full adult, and then by the end of the game, you're like, I don't want to say senior citizen, but you're definitely an older adult, and that's definitely a mechanic that not too many games touch, is a character that actually grows over time.
Nice, and they did it too. I think back Lionhead did it to a crazy extreme, even to the point where making good and bad decisions and having that affect the way your character grew up and the way your character looked. I think that was probably the main kind of like gameplay mechanic to me that I was the most interested in. I wanted to see like how good, like with making good decisions, like how good my character would look. And I remember the god rays coming down from heaven and the wings that
You walk around with a halo over your head.
yeah, dude. And that to me, that was absolutely amazing. But let's go to K Mega. K Mega, this dude is a gamer. I don't care what anybody says on Twitter. This guy will play almost anything on any platform and get into it. So Mega, what do you think? 15-year anniversary. What does that mean with you when it comes to the Fable franchise? You don't say, K Mega. That's a whole lot of words right there, brother. I don't know if we can keep up.
See, now you know my pain when trying to get him to play Gears.
Yo, for real. All right, Mega. You might be muted, and if you are, I'm gonna move on and then come back to you. So.
Oh, you called me?
Oh my, dude! What game? All right, I gotta ask you. What game are you playing?
My bad. No, I went to go get the dog from outside. I thought.
So, did you ring?
I thought he got into like a tough situation in like Tekken or something like that, and he like
man,
put the headset down.
No, I got it.
All right. Well, we're talking about the Fable. Today is the 15-year anniversary, and I was asking you because and dude, I gave you compliments. You didn't even hear it, yo.
I know. I come and I see the K Mega's the insider man. What's going on? What the hell did you just say?
Yeah. I said you are a gamer regardless of what people say on Twitter. You play games regardless of what platform. You go in and you play a ton of different types of games. So I was wondering, with it being the 15-year anniversary, what does like the Fable franchise mean to you? And are you a Fable fan?
Yeah, no, I'm a Fable fan. I'm more of a Fable 1 fan than 2 and 3, but because 3 I didn't complete. I think I was kind of at that time out of that place with Fable, but Fable 1, like I think I beat it like 4 or 5 times. I enjoyed it so much. It was so different and unique. Fable 2, a little different, but see, I still got past that. But really, Fable 3 was just one of the games that I just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe it needs a break. And then, of course, when they did the game that got canceled, the Fable Legends, I actually thought that was a cool premise. I think that if people
Fable Legends was beautiful graphically.
It was one of the best looking games that you ever want to see at that time. And what's crazy is that I thought if they didn't try to announce it as a new Fable, from what we're used to, and did it as like a spinoff, I think it would have worked. But because this was all that you had for Fable and didn't give indication that Fable was just a off to the side, its own entity to try to bring in a different type of gamer, I think it would have worked. But again, Fable is iconic, and Fable for the most part is what a lot of Xbox gamers that's been there from the very beginning want. It's also with that. So like when people say Forza, Halo, and Gears, they need to say Fable as well, because those 4 are synonymous to what the Xbox brand is, even though it hasn't been out in a long time. Just kind of like with SOCOM with PlayStation. People, we might not ever see a SOCOM again, but SOCOM is always going to be related to PlayStation because of its popularity. So I look at it like that, and I think we will get a Fable, and I can't wait to see what Playground Games is going to do with it.
Nice, brother. And let's move on to the Don. Don, I gotta say, for as long as I've known you, and brother, it's been a while now, man. Time is flying by, but I'm not sure how big of a Fable guy you are. So you got to let us know if you are a Fable fan, and what the 15 year. I can't believe 15 years this franchise has been kicking around and possibly still going. But what does the anniversary possibly mean to you, brother?
I never really enjoyed Fable. I mean, there's a reason why you haven't heard me talk about it, because I really just talk about the games I like and don't really trash on ones that I don't enjoy.
And you're on Twitter?
Yeah, it's weird. It's another way of going about life. I don't know if it is the way, but it is a way you can go about life. But no, it's never really resonated with me, to be totally honest with you. And I feel weird about it because a lot of people like to give their input on games that they don't like. You need to do this or you need to do that. And that kind of like, yeah, but they're not talking from people that are fans of the genre. So I tend to also not try to push if it's a game that I don't like. I try not to take away from what the games try to be. You know what I mean? Like in regards to that. So I try to be respectful for the people that are fans of it. That being said, the one I did like though was the one that was never released. Was that Fable Legends? What was that? What was the
it's
one
like
on
the
the
4v1? Yeah, Fable Legends.
Yeah, Fable
Yeah,
Legends.
Fable Legends.
I actually enjoyed that one the most. I thought the combat was good. I think I think Fable actually found its art style. I think it just never really found an art style that made sense, and it was kind of its own until then. And I'm a little bummed that it never released, to be honest with you. I knew it would have been like a side thing for Fable, it wouldn't have been the main thing, but I think it would have been a good direction for the series to kind of go in. And but we'll see what the talent is bringing out there, because obviously there's people working on it. So
I mean, it is kind of like the worst kept secret in the gaming industry that there is a Fable being developed right now. Of course, it is associated with Playground Games, the people who make the Forza Horizon series. And yes, it is a racing game, but guess what, guys? They know open world.
jeez.
So
Hell was that?
what
Yeah.
was that? Did somebody sneeze?
No, you're very unpleasant in my ears, but keep on going.
Oh, damn. My bad. Let's see. Guys, I will say I am using Streamlabs OBS over OBS Studio today because I have plans moving into the future and I want to use a lot of the tools that Streamlabs OBS has. I want to mix together what I know and how to create a podcast and they're kind of like extra features. So we got big things like moving into the future with this show and I can't wait to get everything kind of like cemented, solidified, and put out there for fans of the show or whatnot. But I do want to ask this question though. With it being the 15-year anniversary, do you think this would have been a great time instead of everybody just like, yeah, I know a new Fable is coming. Even Xbox hasn't really announced anything or anything like that. I'm gonna start with K Mega on this one, unless he put out his dog or something like that. He's not around, but it wouldn't have this been like a really good time for either somebody in Xbox to kind of tweet something out and tease that there is a Fable coming? Do you think this might have been a missed opportunity for them not to put something out there to let people know that they're going to be talking Fable in the near future? K Mega?
Oh, man, you're killing me. I'm over
Brother!
My bad. I'm over here. My dog was over there just doing something. Okay, all right. What did you say? I'm sorry, bro.
All right. Do you think with the 15-year anniversary, all right,
Yeah.
I think it would have been a good time for somebody within Xbox to kind of tease a future for Fable, whether it would be like the name out there or by like Aaron Greenberg or maybe Phil Spencer saying, "Man, I can't wait to get back to Albion," like hint or something like that. Do you think they might have missed an opportunity here to tease like that they're going to be talking about Fable in the near future, man?
No.
No?
And this is why. We all had this discussion about Gears of War 5 and the story and why they didn't do this, why they didn't do that. And I mean, people can agree and disagree. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But it seemed like when it comes down to the story aspects of Gears, nobody's mentioning that now. I think the strategy of what Phil Spencer was trying to do, I think is going to benefit them in the long run, especially if they have a long lineup of games to wet the palate with. You talk about a game for 2 or 3 years, and then something happens with that particular game. It's only going to make it worse down the line because the promises that they may have thought or visioned, and it's not in the game because they showed it a year or two early. It's only going to backfire. I think that strategy is out the window. I mean, look at what happened with Crackdown 3, and I just like the strategy. Just take your time. If you have plenty of games in the lineup to show here in the future, then that's fine. If they're going to bring out Fable next year, then that's a whole different story. But if they're not, then take the time until that game is actually ready to be to get out in the wild, and then present it. Because you could talk about it, they could throw a little something saying that it's the 15th year anniversary. We still got love for Fable, and then let the fan base talk about how much they want it, get them all riled up. Why are they not talking about it? So people can start talking about Fable again. But don't present nothing if you don't have anything to show. Because if you just show, I know that I hear that Pred, our boy Pred, he's not here, but he says this, and I hear a lot of other people say it. Well, if all they need to just show is a name, just show a label, just do that. That only works with Sony. That don't work with anybody else. That don't work with anybody.
But it would get like gamers like me like hyped up, and I think Twitter would kind of go crazy.
Well, yeah, they would get crazy, and then it only gives more time for the people that aren't crazy about Xbox and their games to talk down about it and find reasons for the people that were hyped to be skeptical again. So just wait.
Hey, Mega, let me say something right quick.
Yeah,
You're
ahead,
absolutely right. I feel they shouldn't do that because, like Mega just said, say if they show a picture, oh look, Fable's coming, that's going to just cause a lot of unanswered questions, even more unanswered questions. Like, what is it going to look like? I prefer them just to announce games at shows at E3 or XO, just to have something there, because we want Xbox to have these great E3 conferences and these great shows. So we can't waste a big game like Fable on a tweet. I know sometimes Sony tweet certain stuff, or like we're doing this, we're doing that, but a game of Fable caliber should be revealed at a show. Just my opinion.
I totally agree with I totally agree with Dirt on that. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, Sony, the only reason why Sony does that, like what they did with the whole Last of Us 2,
yeah,
is because they were seeing so many people talking about Gears. So they throw that little shade out there to try to get their fan base to be like, whoa. We understand that Gears is getting a lot of attention, but don't forget about our game. Don't forget about why you bought a PlayStation, why you are a PlayStation fan. They do that. Xbox just need to stay in their lane, do what they need to do, and then have the games that can be available at launch and have enough of them to where then it's not that big of a deal and people won't question it because they'll always have a game available at hand. But like they said, that game needs to be at a conference to be shown.
Well, yeah, I hear you on that. Yo, shout out to A. Lopez in the chat, because I think he might be feeling the way I do. He says like haters are gonna hate no matter what, and that's my whole deal. So why let what haters are gonna say? Because you saw it with Gears. Anybody who had any concerns when it came to Gears 5 and putting out like what they think might be wrong with the game and stuff like that, obviously they were wrong, right? I mean, we can all agree they were wrong, right?
Yeah,
so
they were wrong.
Why let people like that? Why let people like that dictate the narrative and just do what you want, man?
Because they do. That's just what's happened. I've said this and I'm sticking by it and I'm not changing it. If they showed any of their Gears story anytime during E3, it would have already been looked at. Well, already done that. I've seen that already. That's not Gears. Yeah, Gears is okay. They would have already shitted on it by the time that they got released.
There are people that are literally complaining because you can't shoot cups in the game.
I saw that too.
People have to argue back.
Though, right?
People have to argue back. Like that's what it's resulted to.
But I saw somebody complain that you couldn't jump the skiff, but for some reason I can jump it.
Oh yeah, you find a cliff, you're jumping off with that sucker.
Oh, yeah,
like,
Megan knows that I can jump that thing.
Oh yeah, that boy. Right. But that's the thing, though. That's the biggest problem that we have is that look, if people have more time to keep drilling the negative, regardless of how positive Xbox fans are trying to be, they want to try to be as fair as possible and try to be objective, but then they find themselves being just as negative at the end because they start believing that bullshit. That's the problem. Like, I mean,
well, isn't that on
do that with Nintendo fans? Nintendo fans don't care if the game is delayed or if the game don't come out for 20 years. They're still gonna be hyped. That's why that tangent don't go after them, because they already know what Nintendo's going to give them is going to be for them and they're going to make them happy. But because there's so many fickle Xbox fans, and even though maybe deep down they just want to say, man, I'm just ready to enjoy the game. This looks dope to me. If they have 10 people that's in their ear constantly just telling them it sucks, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks, it's going to eventually bleed over to say, well, this looks so hype. Oh my God. Well, it looks okay. If you give it that much time between those months to get to that story, and then people played the game and they enjoyed the game, but that story would still not have the impact as it does now. I just think that Xbox just has to do a strategy differently, and I think that that's the perfect way to do it.
I hear you, but I will say, when it comes down to, you even said, like, Nintendo guys, they don't care. They're gonna love the game no matter what. They don't care if the game gets delayed and stuff like that. Like, I feel it's up to the gamers out there to kind of be that way. Like, if you feel like you're gonna have fun with a game, then you don't let what other people say get involved in your own personal opinion. I don't think that's a Microsoft thing, but yet it's a more personal thing that goes to each individual gamer. Like, me personally, I don't see them, like, why they have to change their strategy, because, like you said like, there's fickle Xbox guys out there who will eventually be like, well, I don't know. I still think Xbox should do whatever they want to do, and I would have loved to see a tease today about Fable. But Don, what do you think, brother?
No, I don't think that's the most effective way to market your
Damn
game.
it! I'm by myself right now.
I'm being honest with you. I just don't think it's the most effective way to market the game. I mean, Microsoft's got to build that backlog so they have a steady stream of games. Yeah. I mean, that's their game plan, right? And I thought they would already be there by now, but apparently I was wrong on the timing. But the reality is that's the plan. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious for anyone that's watching is that they're trying to get that backlog. So when they start doing the E3 before a game's release, it's a big surprise. You try to keep that news as positive as possible up to release. I don't really 100% agree on the Gears thing, but in general, I agree with the whole holding it off till later thing. And, to be honest with you, it creates that positive hype. And you still... Here's the thing. Microsoft's still going to get those people, just like when a new Transformers movie comes out. Everyone goes watch it. They're like, oh, that was so cool. And then all the negative people pop up about a month or 2 months later after something's released. And they'll try to find something to hate on it. But if you ask them, hey, but weren't the special effects pretty cool? They're like, yeah, they kind of were. Like, if you have an honest conversation, like, and I have a feeling like, all the positive Gears hype that we have right now is, because it's a great game, you're going to see about a month and a half to 2 months from now, people are going to find ways to poke holes in it, and then they'll try to run with whatever narrative that is. So, I think it catches them a little off guard by having it in a shorter time frame. Now, as far as Fable goes, I think it's going to be at XO, to be honest with you, and it's going to be out before next holiday. Man. I think the game's
that'd be great.
Personally, I mean, this is not based on anything, just me just trying to look at when things were kind of got started over there through the rumor mill. I honestly, at Playgrounds, I honestly think it might be out next holiday.
Dude, do you remember? Do you remember the early concept pictures that were put out there?
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of different stuff that contradict one another, so I don't know which is real, which is not. But if you look at when they started on the franchise and kind of dreaming everything up, and then you look at when they're acquired, you look at how efficient Playground Games is at making things. if you look at them as a studio, they're like clockwork trying to make stuff. So like to me, like I almost feel like they're already a year past due having the product out, to be honest with you. Like, you know, the way I kind of hold those guys in high regard. So I wouldn't be surprised that it's this holiday. I mean, that wouldn't shock me at all. Oh, not this holiday, but the following holidays.
Yeah, I was gonna say
2020 holiday is what I meant to say. So,
dude, if that's the case, you got Halo Infinite coming out with the new Scarlet, and you get another Fable at that same time as well, dude, that'd be insane.
And then you backlog, Forza going into 2021, like before the holiday. Like if you release like before summer sort of time with Forza, like that's a steady stream that I think gamers are looking for. In regards to that, that'd be an amazing first year for the console, but we'll see how it all pans out. I mean, that's the exciting part. We can all speculate right now, but and let me tell you, developers want to talk about their stuff too. But
I can just imagine, man.
we have to patiently wait and to hold down that excitement until it's time. So
nice. Well, I definitely want to hear. I don't believe I got Centurion's opinion of this. Am I gonna stand completely alone here in saying, man, it would have been neat if like Xbox teased something for Fable on its 15-year anniversary? Centurion, what do you think, brother?
It would be great, yes, but sadly, I think you will be alone in the fact that it just wouldn't be good for their business model to do something like that. Mm-hmm. A game of that caliber does need to be released at an event like XO. Not like now. I have been saying that this XO is the perfect setting for that because it's taking place in London. Fable itself is a game that's heavily rooted into that I don't want to say culture, but that genre of like British humor.
Yeah.
So it would be very fitting for it to at least be, even just teased at that event. We don't even need a full reveal. In my opinion, if they were just to do a tease, everybody would be talking about it to E3, where they could probably do a proper full reveal for E3 because a lot of people would be tuning in specifically for that. But yeah, it'd be great if they did something like that. But again, it just wouldn't fit their model.
Time is ticking right now, and we haven't seen anything from them. So
see what Phil should have done is wear a Fable shirt. That's what he should have done.
Actually, he should have stood in front of a Fable logo wearing a Meta Who shirt.
Oh, there we go. Meta Who? Hashtag Meta Who out there, people. But
but XO is in a couple months, and
dude, with Centurion,
perfect. What he said is like they show like a teaser is not the problem. A teaser like on a Saturday in September would be a problem, but a teaser at an XO event would be great. And like Centurion said, at E3 they show some gameplay footage of it. Oh, that would be a perfect case.
It was funny. Yo, Dirt. It was funny when Centurion, he talked about where XO is going to be, because the first time I saw that it was going to be across the pond, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, throw a little Fable up on the screen real quick, and then be out. Like, I could definitely see that happening. I want to veer off a little bit, and I got to go back to K Mega on this, because last week we were talking about like Gears 5, playing the game and stuff like that. And, Mega, he snuck in and just kind of played maybe the first level or something like that. But Mega, you've been streaming with Don and Delirium Blades, right?
AKA Twinkie. Make sure you
Twinkie?
get Blade.
AKA Twinkie?
So
So now I can get your thoughts on the game, its gameplay, its story pacing, stuff like that. So dude, I want to hear, like, are you liking Gears 5? What's going on, man?
No, man, I love it. I still stand firmly behind what I said, is that it's the game of 2019 that gives you the best value, without a doubt. I mean, it's just got so many modes, so many enhancements, just the fact that it's got, the story, the different modes, the special guest characters, all of that. Like, the only thing maybe that could probably come close to maybe doing something could be maybe COD, but you're going to be paying $100 for that, or maybe what's Ghost Recon, or maybe Borderlands 3, but that's a $50 season pass plus. Well, again, you're paying $100 to $110 for what you're doing with for Ghost Recon. So, that game is amazing. Story wise, it's a blast to play. We still got to finish it. I'm hearing that we're right there, close to the end.
Well, how far? Like, what act are you in, guys?
We're in Act 5, I think.
No, we're in. There's 4 acts, and we're in Act 4, Chapter 1, or whatever.
Act 4, Chapter 1. So you guys are further than me. I'm still at the beginning of.
Then you guys probably got maybe about another couple hours.
Yeah, so we got to knock that out. So, but I mean, it's great. Yeah, it has its hiccups, especially when we play in the co-op. It's got some issues on when it'll shut you out, it'll kick people out, things like that.
Mostly Twinkie though. Like from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, mostly Twinkie, mostly Twinkie. But I've been kicked out a couple of times myself. And so the thing of it is, to me, it's no game is perfect. No game will ever be. God of War is looked at from some people as the game of the generation, and it has its flaws, but that still doesn't take away from the immersion of what that game and the experience that it gives you. And it's the same with Gears. Like that, like we got to a point in the game to where we fought like a crazy boss. What? Like it was insane. Like I just was smiling, but having my mouth open at the same time. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, what the hell is this crazy thing? And it's a blast. And then you get a bond with the characters. There was a scene, and I'm just gonna say the words to it, but there was a part to where Marcus Phoenix was talking to Fez. I think that's the
Foz.
Yeah.
Is that where he's like
CrossFit dude?
CrossFit dude, right? And
he was like, it's Foz, right?
Yeah. He said, yes, sir. He says, shut the fuck up. That had me crying. I'm like, what? Like, it's gutter like how Gears has been known to. I think kind of Gears 4 kind of separated itself from being that gutter. It was good, but it wasn't back to what we known as Gears. But Gears 5 brought back that gritty, grimy feel on top of.
I think it's less. I think Gears 5 is less like dude bro than kind of like the original 3 Gears. Is that bad to say?
No, because the main protagonist in this one is Kate, but it's still dude bro. Like I mean, it's still it's not as dude bro because of with Dom and the team with Baron and all them, but it still has that feel. It's just different because it's set in a new generation. But I can't tell you how much fun I've been having playing the game. And then when I played the escape mode at E3, I didn't get it because they didn't tell us. They just told us, try to survive. And then we died really quick. And I was like, what the hell? I didn't. But now since I know what to do, I really like escape mode. Horde mode is fantastic. I love arcade
I've
mode.
only been playing campaign, dude. That's all I play.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I love campaign. And then of course, going with the big boys and learning how to use the shoddy body. I still got work to do on that end with the ranked matches. But
I think Dr. Disrespect might be looking for team members if you need somebody.
He's looking for lessons how to play, man.
Yo, for real, dude. That was hilarious.
But yeah, no, I mean you talking about that one that streamer.
Sticks.
Yeah. Come on, stop it. But regardless, man, forget that dude. That dude's a fraud. But other than that, man, it's a great game. It's for all the praise that it's got, it deserves. For some of the things that it's given for the bugs and things like that, it's deserved as well. But I give it a 9 so far because I mean if the story we're close to the end. Then the game is a 9, a solid 9, 9.1 to me.
Well, dude, you are a YouTuber, so I got to ask you: are you planning on doing a review once you beat the game?
I don't like calling those things reviews. I just like giving my opinion. Because look, everybody has an opinion to it, and people can agree or disagree. But I'll definitely give my thoughts about it. Talk about the things that like I've kind of discussed now. Is just the game is definitely a contender for game of the year. I mean, you got Sekiro, you got Resident Evil, and we'll see what's going to happen with Days Gone. I mean, not Days Gone, but
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding. But
Yeah, about
Yeah,
that.
but Gears is definitely in the mentions, and if it's not, it's a fucking crime. That's just how I look at it.
I got you. Yo, shout out to Skin Eastwood. He said in the chat, he's like, I'm slowly coming to terms with the new characters. I didn't think Gears 4 did enough, but Gears 5 is something else. And dude, I gotta agree with you. I feel like they're fleshing out the newer characters a lot better in this campaign. You feel yourself like I know there was sentimental moments in the older Gears, like with Dom and stuff like that, but I feel like there's more of an emotional presence more consistently in Gears 5 than in previous Gears games. And I'm digging it. I haven't beat it yet, so I can't say it's the best story I've played out of any of the Gears I played, but I'm leaning towards that right now. And if they can go over the top and really smack down, like, perfect the landing when it comes to the ending of this of the campaign, I might have to say that. And I am gonna do a review for this game. But speaking of new games, guys, a game that a lot of people have been waiting for has released, and that is Borderlands 3. Are there any Borderlands fans on the panel?
Mhm.
I've picked it up already.
All right. Well, let's go to Centurion then. Have you had some time to play the game?
I did have time. I played today for about an hour. Interesting part is I was actually kind of wanting to bring this up. We all remember when everybody found out that they were going to launch Gears around Borderlands 3 and they were like, "Oh, it's doomed. Borderlands 3 is going to kill it." That argument is kind of shot in the foot at this point because you guys know who Dealer Gaming is, right?
Yes, I know Dealer.
He hit me up on DM because he knew I was getting the game, and he actually warned me about getting Borderlands 3 because he picked it up, and they're having some serious performance issues, not only on console but also on PC. And luckily, he showed me how to get over those performance issues by actually lowering my field of view from the default settings down to a 70s to actually increase the performance of the game.
Huh.
But yeah, they've been having like frame rate drops, loading issues with the menus. There's actually some articles on Windows Central about how that there's a few bugs and glitches going on in the game. I haven't ran into too many of them. I think it's because I lowered my settings down, but
yeah, you were able to get a heads up on something that could kind of like streamline your experience more, and kind of possibly you'll evade a few of those bugs and glitches then, right?
oh yeah, like I haven't, because I did that, I haven't had a lag issue. But if you go on Twitter, there's been some videos on Twitter where you see like bad lag. I mean, like where the person moves the controller all the way over one direction,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes like almost a full second for the character to start moving.
Oh damn, man! Like I heard there were issues. I heard it was more on the resolution mode as opposed to the performance mode. Now, Centurion, what mode? Because you said you only played for about an hour, but which mode did you pick? Are you doing performance or are you doing resolution?
I went resolution because I started off on performance, but on a 4K television, when the characters have I don't know if it was because of the cell shading or what, but I did not like how the characters had this halo effect around them of just like almost like it was like distorting the image almost. So I switched it back over to resolution. When I switched over to resolution, though, like the cell shading in this game is a lot cleaner and there's a lot more detail to everything when it's on resolution mode, and especially considering past iterations of Borderlands, it still has that cartoony look to it, but I mean, it looks really clean. I'm definitely happy with the game. Obviously, once Gearbox goes in and starts patching everything and gets the game running right, I think it's really gonna be an awesome title to run around with your friends. But yeah, right now it just has its issues, which sadly, I wish, I didn't see that because everybody's been wanting Borderlands 3 so bad. They've been talking about this game. They've been looking forward to this game, and for it to come out and, have multiple articles from multiple sites just talking about how there's just issues all over the game. It's definitely not what the franchise needed.
I got you, man, and that is definitely upsetting. And we're gonna get more into this whole bugs and glitches thing. As we get other opinions about this new game that released. It is the third entry in the Borderlands franchise. Borderlands definitely has a huge following, and I think it was Don. Don, you said you're into Borderlands, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. Yeah, I think we played a little bit with Mooch in Borderlands 2, and that's when I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm a Borderlands guy. But did you pick up the game?
Not yet. I've been doing this thing where I actually play through the games that I have first, and then I buy a game.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's called being an adult. But no, I've been really just trying to tackle in the backlog, and honestly, works as good motivation to kind of get through your games and then look forward to the next thing. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. There's nothing more disappointing than hearing about a rough launch for a studio. I know that's rough and it hurts them, hurts their
Dude,
reputation.
that's like the third game in a row right now, man.
Yeah, and to be honest with Gearbox is kind of hit and misses on the releases. Like some have been smooth, some have not been. And so I thought Borderlands would be the alternative, but it looks like it's just having a little rough launch. I'm sure they'll iron things out. Everything I've been hearing about, it's all been doable. I'm just kind of surprised that they didn't push the date back a couple months or something like that, because it seems like this would have resolved itself if they waited a month or two and just patched more. So
yeah, I got you, man. And I actually just literally forgot the next thing I was going to say to you, Don. So I'm going to move on to our
sounds
brother.
about right.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on to our brother Dirt. Now, Dirt, when I asked about Borderlands fans, I didn't hear you, man. What's going on? Do you get into Borderlands? What's the deal?
Not a Borderlands fan at all.
At all?
At all. I had bought part 2 because I heard all this buzz about this Borderlands game. I said, okay, I'll check it out. Bought it and absolutely hated it and never touched another Borderlands game again. Sorry.
Dude, I played it in Game Pass. Mooch, shout out to the Mooch, man. He can be very convincing in an Xbox Live party. And he was like, dude, no, it's in Game Pass. You got to download it. He's like, man, I'll stream it. You can jump in. We'll have a blast. And I had fun with him, but it wasn't necessarily with the game. It was just kind of like our conversation with each other while he was streaming it. And it just didn't really kind of like sink its hooks into me. And guys, you got to remember, there's different gamers out there. Some gamers are going to love a game that you love, but some people, it's going to be like, it didn't really do too much for me, even though you love it. So just remember that, guys. Different gamers out there.
It's one of those weird games. It takes about from 2 to 3 hours for someone to kind of wrap their head around it, like the upgrade system, how the light, some guns would be absolute garbage and some guns would be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you kind of get that phenomenal and you get to realize of the randomness of, it's loot box the game, right? With guns. When you finally get that good roll, you're like, crap, this is something different. And I don't know what my next gun's going to be or what it's going to be. It could be crazy powerful, but it may just fall out of the end of the barrel of the gun and just kind of fall at my feet. You know what I mean? Like it could be anything. Like I've played through that game. There's no way I've experienced every gun in that game, and it's been around forever. So
yeah, that's
they also went a little Remedy on us.
How do you say?
You know how Remedy likes to incorporate real life actors into their games, like through like cutscenes or videos throughout the game.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you've played any of the Borderlands games, you always have Lilith, which is like the chick that's voiced in your head. Now she's a real life person. Like the visions you have of her in your head, she is a real life filmed actress that basically comes onto the screen as she's talking.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it is pretty cool. I was like, whoa, Lilith, what's going on?
So, Mega, did you pick up the game?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. So now the only question for Mega is Mega will pick up games in droves, and then it'll take him forever to get through that huge collection he bought on like day one. Have you played it?
Yeah, no, I played about the same amount as Citron. It was about an hour, about 45 minutes to an hour. It was like about 3:30 in the morning. So so it was somewhere around there. I got to the point to where I seen Lilith and started going on the first kind of mission. And then I was like, I'll get to it here a little bit later. So yeah, I was tired. It was like it was almost 4:00 in the morning. So
damn, bro.
and then I had the emotional tide going through Gears, and I wasn't really done, but everybody else was done. So that was just what was going on. So I was like, let me try this. But no, I mean, I was just like Dirt, man. I played Gears 1 on the 360. I mean, not Gears. I'm sorry. Borderlands 3.
Don't worry, brother. You
Borderlands
know I would have
1.
corrected you as soon as.
I know. I played Borderlands on the 360, and I hated it. I was like, what is this? What's going on? Why did this guy from GameStop talk me into getting this game? So I played it for about like a day, and then I traded it in for something else. I couldn't even tell you what that game was. I think it was maybe Twisted Metal on the PlayStation 3.
Okay.
So, but regardless, I hated it. Don and them talked me into playing it again, and I was like, yeah, and everybody was saying, oh man, the game is really doing. And 100 of them, they love that game. They're like, it's fun, it's human. I don't know, I didn't get all that. I just didn't get all that. And then I was told that Don and them was like, hey, look, man, you got to get the best experiences to play it online, play it with people. And at that time, I wasn't playing games online. I was just playing games. It just didn't feel like it was my cup of tea. But then I played the Borderlands Telltale's game. And I played the Telltale's game and I fell in love with it. And I'm like, man, that's got me interested in the story. So then they had the Handsome Jack collection. I got it. And then I fell right back into the trap again because I played the prequel and it sucked. I was like, oh my God, this is why I wasted my damn money. And then anyway, so I played it with, I jumped in and played the first one with somebody and I had a blast. And I said, you know what? This is no different than Destiny to me. So this is the original looter shooter. I love looter shooters. So why I didn't like this at this time? So it just came to it just to have that one experience in that moment, and then it just captures you. But I think it's just kind of like with Dirt. Like if you play the game kind of like solo and just try to get a feel to see if you like it that way, it might not be your cup of tea. But once you play it with somebody else, and then the further you get, and then you see the humor, and then you see everything else that's involved in it, then it's a really charming little game. So, I've kind of fallen in love with it now, but it took a while for me to get into it.
All right, I got you, man. And I think pretty much, we went through. You played for about an hour. Centurion played for about an hour. Don didn't pick it up yet because he believes in some weird thing of beating games he already has or something like that. Dirt's not into it, kind of like me. So let me get into the next question on this because we've seen Control come out and come out with a bunch of bugs, glitches. Gears 5 when it dropped as well, and they're continuing to patch it basically to this day. Definitely
Not to
had.
interrupt, but I feel like the bugs were way worse on Control than they are on Borderlands.
All right. Well, I mean, we can talk about different levels of bugs and glitches and stuff like that, but I wanna bring something to the table here when it comes to this because we get excited for these games release, and we see these three games, Borderlands, Gears, and Control come out, and there's with a couple of them there's frame rate issues with other ones there's like server issues and people getting kicked out and stuff like that. I got to ask you guys, and I think we've been dealing a lot with a lot of this stuff, like this entire generation. I got to ask, like, what you guys think the deal is, and is this going to be the way it's going to be moving into the future for us gamers? Like, every time we're getting excited for a game, we're going to have to deal with, like, a whole series of patches that comes out within, like, after it releases a month or two, and kind of getting developers getting everything ironed out. Like it seems to be more of a trend than anything this generation, and especially with these last three games. So let me go to Don first on this one. Brother, what do you think about this? You are a developer. I feel a lot of this has to do with being games programmed with the x86 architecture, because before this generation, of course, PC games, they were known for getting patches for glitches, bugs, functionality, performance, all that good stuff. Do you think that like the bugs and glitches deal that we've been dealing with this entire generation, do you think that might be the reason? What do you think is the issue here when it comes to games releasing in these conditions, man?
I would say if it weren't for x86, it would be worse.
Really? Now, why would you say that, bro?
More systems, more problems, right? So more things you have going on in your game, the more likely you have things that code conflicts one another. As far as the order of the way things are coded, it could be just the fact that you using so much memory. I mean, there's so many different possibilities, but more systems, more problems is really kind of the generic answer. To be honest with you, so as games get bigger and graphics get more demanding, glitches are more likely going to happen across the board. As more people play online, games are going to see more of problems with connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's really comes down to the scale of how big these games are getting, and then there's things that typically will conflict. Is a lot of times people like to use the word lazy, and I don't really know a lazy developer because it's too competitive of a space for to find that stuff, right? Because everybody wants to kind of get in and on the door, but it really comes right down to the fact that it comes to time, money, and knowing when to pull the plug on certain things, right? So there are certain things you work on in a game and you realize this is going to take up X number of resources. You just got to pull the plug on it because you may not be able to hit whatever time schedule you have and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, people call them sprints and they call them a bunch of other stuff, but the reality is you have these sections where you cram a bunch of basically work into a small space. You hit that mark, and then you move on to the next thing, and you try to minimize how many times you have to do that so you don't burn out your staff. So I mean, it's just one of those things. I think it's just more systems, more problems. I mean, that's what it's going to boil down to. And this is something I've kind of warned. And we had Knox kind of fight tooth and nail, you a little bit, and I would say even Pred. But I would just say, like with online games, you're going to have these issues going forward. I try to warn, prepare people for this stuff, and it's really not so much about the day one problems. It's about they're going to happen. The question is, how quickly are they able to fix these things, right? And if it seems like too much of a mess, and if you don't want to take the risk on that developer, I can't blame a customer for that, right? Like developers can't blame customers for holding off if it's having a rough launch. I think it's one of those things where I hope developers and gamers kind of come together. They more even heads, and I think developers want to have a great game. They want to entertain. And I think honestly, gamers just want to be entertained and have a good experience for whatever dollar amount they spent their game on. It doesn't matter if it's $5 or $60, right? So, I mean that's kind of my take, but it's not going away. It's not going away in next gen or anything like that. It's just
So, like when
so
Halo
big.
comes out next year, I should expect that there's something that isn't going to be smooth with it.
Yeah, Halo 5, there wasn't something smooth with it either, right? It was less maps, very little, and honestly, I can get on Halo 5 right now and I have a hard time getting into a match. It's having issues right now, to be honest with you. So that sort of thing I give less leeway on because like the game's been out for X period of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
everything should have been ironed out by now.
yeah. But as far as like a matchmaking, that sort of thing, and gamers need to be self-aware that these things may be a problem. So don't take time off work to play day one. I mean, that's the can't blame gamers for doing that, and so like. I don't know. It's rough. I mean, there's no winners in these sort of situations, right? Like, no one wins. But at the end of the day, I expect more of it, to be honest with you. So
Now check this out. Now, first off, I want to give a shout out to Others Inc. Others Inc. Be patient, man. I think it's gonna pay off. We will talk about Death Stranding, and I have a little something special for you guys, for the people who watch the show as well as listen to it. So Others Inc., I think you're gonna like what I have planned when we talk about Death Stranding. So strap in and get ready. It's gonna be in a little bit. And Don, I gotta tell you, no Russian in the chat. He said x86 is bloated code compared to RISC. Now, are you knowledgeable on RISC?
Yeah, Risk is what he's referring to. I guess people can say that, but you have to go the path of the least resistance with programmers and developers, right? So the path of least resistance is x86. That's what they're the most familiar with. So therefore, that's where they're going to do the best. I mean, that's what it comes right down to it. Then and if you look at previous generation, I mean, I'm not trying to pick on the PlayStation, but the PlayStation 3 was the one that everyone blew out of proportions where it had problems. It had problems. The games that launched on the system, but that's because it was complicated, and that's just what it boils down to, and they're unfamiliar with it. So, I mean, that just comes right down to wherever developers are most familiar, you'll get the most out of that result, and it's also the best for scaling when it comes right down to it. So, so when you have ports and stuff like that, that helps out with that sort of stuff. So, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, but it just it's not what the developers wanted. So,
all right. So hopefully no Russian. Hopefully that kind of clears up that whole thing between x86 and Risk and But moving forward, let's go to Dirt real quick. Dirt, what do you think, man? I feel like we've been dealing with this entire generation. The last 3 games here, we got Control, we got Gears, and we have Borderlands. And these are games that, people are looking forward to. And then when they're released, there's like frame rate issues, server issues, infinite saving issues, stuff like that. Like what do you think? Is this something that we as gamers should kind of like sit back and expect from now on? Like where do you think this is all coming from, man?
That's what it seems like. It seems like it's headed that direction. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, hell, look at a game like NBA 2K, right? I love to play NBA 2K.
Yeah, the fourth game, but NBA 2K is broken every year. So
yeah, right. And as a fan of the game, every year I'm excited about the first patch. I mean, no, I'm dead serious. I'm always excited about the first patch. Like, I hope they fix this. I hope they fix that. What are they going to do? And it's sad that that's the state that we're in now. But like the Don said, don't be surprised if it's going to be like this moving forward. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, man.
You don't see it like getting better with like the next series of hardware or anything like that, huh?
I don't see it getting better. Like the Don said, all of these games are based online, and there's going to be issues. I mean, maybe eventually down the line, but I don't see it changing within the next few years. Not every game is going to have a bunch of problems, but
Battletoads will be absolutely fine when it drops. That's all I'm going to tell people. It's going to be perfect, man.
Yeah, it probably will, wouldn't it?
All right, well, Centurion, man, what do you think about this? I know we're all gamers on this panel, so I know we all play multiple games throughout the year, and especially throughout the generation. Centurion, do you think this is a trend that we've seen building this generation, and what do you think this means for the future of games when they release, man? Do you see this continuing into the new hardware that's coming out next year?
Yeah, I see it being kind of like a trending thing because, like, let's use ray tracing, for example. This is a technology that's been around for a long time, but it's just now starting to be incorporated in the games. Again, like the Don said, games are just going to become more graphically demanding. They're going to become more complex. There's just so many things that could go wrong when you have that coding. And not to mention, but, sometimes, like, I'm not going to call a developer lazy. People are human. Sometimes somebody misses something. Let's use the Division 2, for example.
You just gained points with the Don by saying that. I just want to let you know, man, right now, you gained points with the Don for saying that.
Did you guys ever see the thing on the Division 2 where the person who was ever building a certain section of the map in that area unintentionally, accidentally left a square of concrete at the top of a set of stairs. Like, I mean, like, it wasn't supposed to be there. It was from building the game, and they never caught it. They launched the game like that, and fans found it, and they started tweeting about it, and multiple people found it. And what it was is you couldn't climb these stairs because of this like patch of like concrete floor that had been put over the top of them that wasn't removed during the building process. It's stuff like that where, you know, the game is just so complex. By the time the developer probably was done, it totally just was like, oh my God, I'm tired, and didn't see it and moved on. And it could be something as simple as that a simple patch could fix. But, you know, everybody's demanding these great big open world games. Well, you know, people don't really want to think about it, but, you know, these games do have square mileage to them. And when you're trying to build, maintain, and perfect that big of a square mileage in a game, sometimes something's going to slip through. You're not going to have ray tracing, like, especially with ray tracing. That new technology could create glitches we've never seen before. But over time,
I can't wait. They better
right?
be. They better be classic. They better be funny as hell. I can imagine.
So it definitely over time, I don't see it going to be like. I'm pretty sure when games first start getting going next generation, we're probably going to see some interesting glitches that everybody's going to be talking about. As the generation goes on, you know, these developers are going to be able to plan for stuff like this because they're going to be like, all right, this is, you know, it's been out in the wild long enough. This is what's going to happen if we do that. If we do this, this is what's going to happen. They're going to have some experience with it already being out and knowing how it's going to react. Sometimes I actually wonder, because we know Xbox has the oh my gosh, where is it? Where they a game preview? Should they start allowing some of these developers access to the game preview program and giving temporary access to these games just to see how they function and work in the wild, so that way before they have a launch day, they can go in and fix some of these glitches or know how it's going to work because it's been on the consoles, and they can see how it's reacting with people playing online and how the consoles are reacting to the system.
You know, that is a great idea, and if you think about it, if you're like an Xbox executive, if it's a multi-plat or something like that, but you have a preview program, you know, unlike other people that are in the same industry, that version of the game would get kind of like a leg up on everything else because you know, even if they use that, you know, to patch the game throughout, you know, multiple platforms and stuff like that, if anything, you're earning mind share with the developers, like, hey, here, use this, put it out there, test it out, see what bugs are going, so this way when your launch date does arrive, we'll take it out of game preview, but you're almost ensuring a smoother release, especially on the Xbox side of things as well. So that's a great idea right there, man. Hopefully, I know Mikey Barr every once in a while definitely drops in on the chat. So maybe he's listening right now and he's taking notes from Centurion. That would be awesome.
I mean, let me put this in perspective. A single vertice can screw up shit. And if you guys don't know what a vertice is, and this is not something Digital Foundry will teach you because I don't know if they know it or not. But
damn, I was just checking their history to see like if they had a video on it.
Yeah, but anyways, so if you ever see a polygon object that you know, before they have the normal smoothed out and before they have the textures on there, like a flat shaded object, there's always a point where the polygons meet, right? Those points are called vertices.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the process of making a model, it could be a character model, whatever it may be. At times you're welding vertices, you're deleting surfaces, you know, polygon surfaces, and sometimes you just have a random little vertice out of, you know, let's say a character that's got say 500 polygons on there. That's actually relatively low by today's standard, but say like a 500 polygon model, you may have 3 or 4 random floating vertices that are just surrounded by the model and you don't even see them. I mean, it's almost impossible. I mean, you can spend hours trying to find them, right? And how you prevent it is just try to be clean and that sort of stuff. But you're like, oh, okay, it's no big deal. Sometimes they don't affect anything. But as soon as you have a physics simulation or interacts with whatever that object you created, shit goes sideways. Like say a piece of clothing, like next thing you know, like the clothing won't lay against the model, but it's sticking way out there in the middle of no man's land. And so, sometimes that just happens through play testing. You notice those things. Someone points it out, and someone knows where to look, right? And that's just one model, from a graphic side of things that it screws things up, right? So, I mean, this stuff, I mean, it's complicated. It takes time. It takes a lot of energy.
Well,
there's
Don,
just
I think
it's just going to be a lot of it. So,
Don, I think the biggest thing you said was pretty much the scope of the games that these developers are making right now, and I think what Centurion said kind of double stacked on it to really put it out there that when you're looking at the square mileage and they're putting graphics in and they're trying to be absolutely to detail. One little thing like you're saying with the vertices, one little thing can screw up a lot. All right, and I that definitely puts it into a more of a proper perspective for me because I think us as gamers we can kind of group up in communities and kind of like demand better without thinking about the work that was put in behind it already. And
I don't think it's unreasonable to demand better either, though. That's the thing is like demanding better is I don't think it's a bad thing.
Okay.
I think that's actually a good thing, but demanding better with an understanding what's going on.
That's the key.
That's the key. That's the part that's missing, right? Because like a team may have say even from 25 to 50 testers, roughly, relatively big studio. There's a big difference between 25 to 50 testers to 1 million people bought your game. There's just always going to be a deficit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those people can only catch so much because what they're trying to do, they're on an Easter egg hunt to try to find all the problems, right? They're trying to play it like a normal person, then try to play it like an unnormal person. And play like everybody else.
I love how you said that, man. An unnormal person.
And that's that's what it comes right down to. So yes, there's always going to be things in the real world versus the testing environment. They're going to be different, and that's just so inevitable with these situations. So I feel for developers, but I also think gamers should speak up. I think I saw something weird on Twitter where like don't say everything's fine when I'm having problems. Well, I think both are equally as important. If you're not having problems with a game, I think it's important, if it's an honest thing, what's going on. I think it's important for developers to know that.
It shows the severity of the issue, right?
Yeah, exactly. It gives scale to what's going on. Now, if you're having problems, be honest what the problems is. Be helpful. And I know that's asking a lot of a consumer, but try to be more helpful than the other way around and illustrate what's really going on with the game. And I think the end result is everyone's going to get better games. I think everyone's going to be happier. But when you start getting hyperbolic one way or the other, that's when as a developer we lose perspective of are those customers, can we even help? Is it really an issue? Because I don't know if I take this person seriously or not, right?
Yeah.
So and then you have other people being hyperbolic the other direction, and it's just fine. And you're just like, is it just fine? Like you second guess it, right? So
well, it's like with me with NBA 2K. I've seen a lot of people having issues. I've seen a lot of like animation glitches where the ball went around the player's head and back into like your hands and stuff. Me personally, I have not seen any of that while playing my career, but I'm not going to go out there. I'm like, yo, it's working for me, but that's tough to hear you going through that as well. I don't downplay what other people are going through just because I'm not getting those same glitches that they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the thing is everyone's going to have a different experience, and that's the reason why bugs are so hard to identify, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to know the scope of what's really going on there. And the funny thing is we have anyone can instantly record a glitch these days. It's not something we had back in the day. You know what I mean?
That is true, man. That is so true.
Now anybody that knows how to operate their console can literally go back and record from who knows what the settings are these days. You know, I think anywhere from like 15 minutes to 10 minutes or whatever of gameplay footage if they saw a glitch. So no glitch gets unnoticed these days. And it's one thing to be hyperbolic and like, hey, look at this game is so awful. Look at this one thing and take it out of context. That's not talent. That's just being a jerk, right? I mean, that's what you're doing, right? But but saying, hey, look, man, this happened, and just tweeting the developer, just keeping it civil and say, hey, man, I've had this experience several times, and here's a recorded clip, and you can easily post that on Twitter. It does for the developer. It sucks to see that, but the same token, it's one of those things like it sucks to hear about, but you want to know about it. It's kind of like when you're sick. No one wants to know hear about them being sick, but you kind of have to know so you can fix the problem, right? So,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the way I look at it. I know it's a little bit of a long rant, but hopefully that gives people something to shoot for there.
Nice.
Not to interrupt, but to hop in, I play a lot of ESO with some friends of mine. In ESO, we all know, you guys know what ESO is, right? Elder
Yes.
Scrolls Online.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's actually a thing in the menu that actually get in contact with the developers. It's like a form that you just filled out. And there's been a few times me and my friends actually have to use that form because we've found something in the game that crashes the game out in that particular spot. And they actually interact with you and thank you for actually getting into contact with them and letting them know.
Nice, especially with something like ESO, which is basically, it's an MMO basically, right? Like,
Oh yeah, it's definitely an MMO.
And if they're evolving it, if they're constantly putting content in it, because when you add content to a game, again, everything that it's like everything that Don just said, everything that Centurion that you said about size and scope and everything like that, it's like releasing a new game again. Because like when you add content to a game, it can screw up the previous content. There could be glitches in the new content and stuff like that. So it's good for them to have that there. We might see more of that moving forward as well, as like these massively like online multiplayer games, as more of them come out and stuff. We might just get one of those in like the title, the menu screen all the time, just in case, because they're planning on constantly adding content. I do want to give a huge shout out. It's been a little bit, but if he is still watching, my brother Boom Boom Kaboom Noof Nukem, I did see you in the chat, brother. Butcher Van is here as well. One of my CCC, I guess you could say family members. It is good to see you, brother. And as usual, Shizno is here. Stick Figure, huge shout out to Stick Figure. Dude, I love seeing what you're tweeting out there on social media as well. The Don is in the chat, guys. Check that out. The Don's there. But K Mega, what do you think about this trend here? I know we had Don kind of going in at length with his kind of like his developer status, so given kind of like that perspective. But has there been a trend this year when it comes to bugs and glitches with games on release? I know at least, like I said, these newer like 4 games all came out with some type of frame rate issue, server issue, stuff like that. Have you seen a trend this generation, and what do you think about it kind of like moving forward into like the new hardware next year?
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely going to come. As long as games have deadlines and they have these pre-order sales to where they offer these games earlier than normal, it's just what it is. It's going to happen. So it's not going to change. It's most likely just going to be the norm. It's just, I think once it'll start maybe iron out somewhat, but the more that they go further with these games, the bigger that they are, the more flashy, all that stuff, and then with all this new technology that they're going to be adding with ray tracing and all that. No, it's a given. This is just the new normal right now. So it doesn't matter if you buy a game, if you buy a disc, or if you buy digital. You're still going to have issues. It's just what's going on, because now all these games are tied into patches now to where they have to be online to get these patches. it's kind of like it's their bailout plan. Like they know that they have to meet a certain time threshold to get that game out, and then they know that there's going to be the early adopters that's going to bitch and complain, and then they'll patch it, and then that's it. I mean, it is what it is. It's some games are going to be ruined by it, especially if they're new, they're new IPs. But older games, no, it's no big deal.
You know what I find funny, and this is the thing I find funny, because there was a couple games that, certain kind of like hardcore platform fans have kind of stated that released absolutely perfectly. Games like Spider-Man and God of War, and the funny thing about that is when they say that it released perfectly, there are so many glitch montage videos out there of like God of War, and even me personally with Spider-Man, like when he's like climbing up smokestacks and stuff, he's not even touching the smokestack. He's just crawling through the air right next to the smokestack and stuff like that. I find it funny how certain people, if it's your preferred piece of plastic and it's an exclusive, there's no problems whatsoever. And I feel like the trend has gone with just about every game that's come out so far. There's been at least some hiccups, glitches, stuff like that. I feel like this entire generation, man.
Yeah, no, it has. I mean, I don't have a Switch. I played on the Switch with all my friends. Switch, played Zelda, and then played Mario Kart. But that's it. I didn't play it long enough to know if those games glitch, but I'm sure that there might be some issues somewhere down the line. But this is just the normal, man. This is what's happening. This is what it is. Only thing I can just go back and I can look into is to take a positive out of it is think about back in the NES, Sega days.
I think I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Yeah, just think about those days when you paid full price. You didn't get a real preview or a demo of the game. You just looked at the box and the game was something that you thought that it might, and then you thought the game would be something that you like, and then the game is a glitched mess.
Yeah, and there's no way for them to fix it there.
There's no way that they can fix it. Yeah, there's no way that it can be fixed. So I mean, it's a catch-22 with everything. As long as these games, like I said, they're getting bigger. Everybody said this. They're getting bigger. They're more flashier. They have a lot more new tech being involved, which means that's going to bring more problems. And then, of course, with this whole crunch time situation, it's a given. It's just going to happen. And so, I mean, I'd rather the game get patched eventually so it can work than the game to just be completely broken, and then I have to try to see if I can get my money back, or just have to deal that I've lost money into that game.
Yeah, and I think we've all lost money on certain games when it came down to it, especially before developers had the ability to put patches in and stuff like that. You get excited for a game, and it's a complete glitchy, buggy, unplayable mess, and you're like, "Oh, what the hell, man?"
Yeah, I mean, it just goes as recently as what the Dreamcast and the GameCube, and I mean, those games were broken. Like I don't recall seeing any patches in games on the OG Xbox or PlayStation 2 era either. But I just know that if you bought a game, I remember when I got my PlayStation 2, I bought a game. I can't think of the name of it right now. I thought it was one of the launch titles. It was a beat 'em up, really pretty looking game, man. Because I remember I got that. I can't think of the name of that game.
The Square game, the Square Enix game.
Yeah, it was a Square Enix game. Yeah, and then the guy, he had a dope ass jacket on, and I was like, I'm getting it. I can't think of the name of that game right now, but I got that, and I got Tekken Tag, and I was like, oh man, I'm set. The Bouncer, thank you.
The Bouncer, that's it.
That's it. The Bouncer. That game played well, and then I got to the end and it crashed on me. It broke. So I don't know if I don't know if anybody else had that experience, but I got to the end and I was like, what? What do you do? What's going on here? And I got lucky and I got it to I took it to EB Toy Store, and my homeboy hooked me up and got me another copy of it. But I was too afraid because I was like, that other game, because that's just the mindset of just how I used to think back then. Like, oh, that game's going to be broken too, but just not thinking, So I didn't get it again. I didn't get it again, so I just traded in for something else. But I mean, but that's just what it is, man. I mean, you weren't fortunate back then, and so now you are. At least you do get a patch. So, I mean, you just got to take the good and the bad with it. Nothing is perfect.
Nice.
Right,
And yo, huge shout out to Sir X-Men hitting up that super chat, showing love and support for the show. He says that he is getting ready to try Anthem because if you guys didn't know, it's going to EA Access. I'm not sure.
Oh, man, you should have already been put those 100 hours in Anthem like I did, sucker.
Oh, Sir X-Man, what do you got to say
doing?
about that? No, Sir X-Man, he got to practice his golf game, man. We got to get back into.
I haven't even touched that yet. Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, dude, you don't want to play me until you learn how to play. That's all I want.
It's straight up geriatric sports. Let's move on.
Ah, man, come on. Well, guys,
guys playing games that's playing a game that says what a stroke. Nope, not doing
it. Man, if you're too old to play an actual sport and you have to play golf,
if you're not good enough for the strategy of golf and knowing like what irons and stuff like that,
I'll grab my own club and go Happy Gilmore, man. I don't need them.
You're gonna have one that looks like a hockey stick. You'd be like, Don learned how to putt.
It's going to have a hockey stick in your face on it. Let's go.
Wow. Well, guys, man. It is about that time. We are going to go in on the next topic. And for that, I am going to be switching up the graphics here because, guys, I have 40 minutes
Here we go.
of the 50 minutes that they showed at TGS for Death Stranding, guys. And it was something where Kojima came out and was like, guys, we are giving you 50 minutes of gameplay for the people who are confused about what this game is. But for the people who trust Kojima, don't watch it. It's exactly what Kojima said. I could not believe he came out. He's like, well, if you trust me, then just don't watch it. And you know what's funny? Any of the PlayStation fans that I know that have been backing this game and stuff like that throughout the gameplay we've seen already, none of them decided not to watch it. So I guess none of them trust Kojima. But guys, 50 minutes of gameplay, so we should get a good idea of what this game is about. I'm gonna roll with K Mega first. K Mega, do you know what it's about?
I tried to explain it to Def Jam Bam last night, and only thing he told me is that I just made him more confused because I personally have no idea. I just got a thought process, so I'll try to be brief with it for what I take from it. I could be completely wrong. I think I'm completely wrong, but I don't know. But okay, so it seems like to me that those demons that's out there that's killing people or whatever, most likely they're probably one of those strands babies that are adults and they want to take over the world, and on the other they've taken over the world on the other end, but whatever, right? So fuck them, right?
Dude, you're having a hard time describing
man. It's crazy. Okay, so the babies, these I call them postal carriers. I call them the new Kevin Costners because they're like postal workers.
This really
is. Postman.
It's a FedEx simulator.
Look at his outfit right now. Look at his outfit right now.
Yeah, like it's Postman. The old Kevin Costner movie. It's set in the future, right? So the post people need these babies in order to see these things, and the tie-in is with the main character is that he's supposed to unite the United States because the president can have an outer body experience and go anywhere she wants to mentally. It may look physical, but she's in a different state, but she's kidnapped by these super soldier things that seem like they want to use these demon things to help take over the world, right? Like some kind of crazy militia, right? So this dude, he's been asked because he has some kind of relationship with the president don't really know about that relationship, and so then he's gonna make the decision to try to make the move to go save her, and then all hell's gonna break loose, and he's gonna have bad feet and lay in yellow steamed water to preserve himself.
Oh, dude, brother, I think you got all that from the 50 minutes of gameplay that we saw.
Man, that's
game show.
I've watched every bit of this of every bit of gameplay that they've showed for this game. And that's all I could come up with, man. That's
all right.
it.
Now check this out. First off, I gotta say, Sir X-Man hit up the super chat and he said bad K Mega, and he's got some sad faces.
Do better, do better, X-Man. Do better.
Oh, yeah.
Let me know better. Let me know.
I think he knows more what's going on than Kojima.
Yo, for real. Well, I gotta ask, and Centurion, I know you're gonna have to leave a little bit early, so I want to get your opinions on this, but I gotta ask K Mega. Mega, first off, I gotta ask if you watched the whole 50 minutes of what they showed. Now, I will say it would have helped a little bit more, in my opinion, if they had like an English dub over it, because I felt like I missed some context. Because anytime I tried to watch this, it was always in Japanese. All right, and I understand Tokyo Game Show, so I kind of looked past that. But if they came out with a video that had an English dub over, since America is one of the biggest gaming consumer countries out there in terms of how many games are bought and stuff like that by gamers in the country, I thought it was warranted to possibly get an English dub over video at some point in time. But with that being said, Mega, what do you think about what you saw, man? Is this game of the? Are you hyped right now?
It's a beautiful game with the cutscenes. The facial animations.
Graphics are great, dude.
Graphics are absolutely stunning, top notch. Listen, you know what? I'm a person that's all about the different. I accept all things, all types of people from all different walks of life, but I don't know what I can do with this game. I think this game would take too long for me to get into, because it's going to be so heavily narrated, and before I get to any type of action, that I just think that it'll lose, I'll just lose interest. The combat is the thing that scares me more than anything, because although I thought it was cool that he threw the suitcase at the guy, and it drove a person out, and then he can run really fast to go catch a truck or something. Those little enhancements is cool, but then it just seems like the immersion goes away once you start using the ladder and you start doing the exploration, because it just doesn't show anything but still the mountainside and not really anything else regarding what's going on in the city. And I would want to see more, not because I don't want to care about seeing if people or anything like that. I'm just saying, the game just looks like it's pretty empty, other than just that character or for some enemies that pops up, and
dude,
then the
it seems like you're by yourself a lot, dude.
Right, and it's just the whole carrying the packages and then overstacking them on your back just seems ridiculous. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. Like, the game is very confusing. It hasn't. It's won people over who's all about the strange. But for the most part, for the casual gamer, they're not going to go for this. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's a Sony exclusive, and they may even know who Kojima is from Metal Gear Solid, but this isn't it, man. I don't, you know what I'm saying? It still may be a Game of the Year contender. I know that there's going to be plenty of people that's going to try to push it. And it might be a great game at the end of the day once people start actually playing it. I'm not going to knock it and say it's not going to be, but I think it's just going to go over a lot of people's heads to the point to where it's going to hold it back some. That's just my opinion,
brother. I will let you know. Like, when I heard about the babies and the fact that they're never going to grow up, and live a normal life and stuff like that, I gotta say, I was like, yo, that's kind of interesting. I will say the gameplay that I saw from this 50 minutes has got me being like, yeah, that story sounds interesting, but even if I had a PS4, I wouldn't put myself through this. Like,
well, that's the thing right here. This is the perfect Game Pass game. If PlayStation had a Game Pass game, had a Game Pass for something like that for PlayStation Now, this game would be a hit because I want to try it, but I'm not wasting 60 to the $250 to $300 that they had, because I think Bloody Knuckles bought the baby and everything. Like he went all out. You know what I'm saying? Baby Bob picked up went all out. He paid like three bills.
I'll be like, yo, how much you want for the baby?
No, man, I'm not putting that weird freaky thing on my table, man. That's just crazy. And then that's the thing too is that look, when you're own, I know that they say, and I hate this whole concept of how people use the word trolling. Oh, he's just trolling. Oh yeah, he's making fun of you, but he's just trolling. Listen, Kojima he is being an ass. In a sense of like, well, hey, man, I don't know what the game is about. Look, look, man, I understand that you all about being funny or trying to be this mysterious individual, but you're going to hurt yourself on sales because this game is way beyond the concept of a lot of people's thinking. You know what I'm saying? This isn't normal. And the fact that you want people to buy this game at full dollar, you're going to have to give a better explanation for it. There are going to be people that's just going to get it just because it's a Kojima game. But I feel that there's a lot more people out there that's standoffish and wants to see the gameplay before they even think about spending $1 on his game. And that's just my opinion on it.
Nice. I got to give a shout out to Other Zinc. He said Kojima is the most overrated human to, I wouldn't go most overrated human to ever exist. But I will say, I remember when Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain came out, and it got really incredible scores, but then the gamers were playing it, and at first they're like, oh, this game is great. But when a lot of the community got towards the middle of the game and getting towards the end, there was more of an uproar there. So I was looking at this game kind of like a bounce back for Kojima, and I know a lot of people out there would disagree with me, but I believe that when it came to the Metal Gear series, he did a better job on previous Metal Gears. When it came to like Phantom Pain, like that wasn't the one. All right, it was the older Metal Gears that I think people are still clinging on with the Kojima name. And Dirt, trust me, I will get to you, but I know Centurion, he's pulling a double right here, so I want to get his opinion on this before he leaves us for the night. So Centurion, I gotta ask if you watched the almost 1 hour gameplay, if you have a better idea of what's going on in this game, and if it's your cup of tea, brother, let us know what the deal is, man. Dude,
I'm gonna be truthful. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah,
I'm watching it right now on your feed. I'm not trying to sound like an ass in saying this, but I'm completely over this game. And like, I'm going to be upfront. It's coming out around Black Friday, and I will probably bet someone $5 that that game is going to be dirt cheap on Black Friday, because I don't see this game, like K Mega said, I don't see the casual going out and getting this game. This is going to be for diehard Kojima fans. And, it's kind of like a Quentin Tarantino flick. Quentin Tarantino has made some awesome flicks, but also he's made some flicks that are out there.
Yeah, you didn't know what the hell was going on, and even by the end of the movie, you're like, what the hell did I just watch?
Right?
Yeah.
And I also feel this is going to be one of those games that, he's trying to make this from an artistic perspective. I feel like that nobody's ever going to get this perspective until years down the road, and when people are going to be talking and be like, oh, remember Death Stranding? Yeah, that game had a message behind it that just nobody could understand when it came out. Just because you could tell, like, in my opinion, he's pushing more of a pro-life kind of game, because, you hear all these people talking about it. All you do in video games is run around.
Brother, I am all about that message, to be really honest with you. Trust me. But even with all that, like I said, the whole story of like the baby, when they kind of revealed more about what the baby is like on his chest and stuff like that, I was like, that was interesting. But to me, the gameplay just completely was like, yeah, I don't know about this, brother.
See, now, like, I'm just wanting to put it in perspective. Everybody likes to tear down Microsoft, but could you imagine for the Gears 5 trailer.
Lord.
Imagine at Gamescom, Rod Ferguson comes out there, Jeff Keighley, they're showing it, and it's just Kate and Dell riding around on the skiff, walking around empty hallways, just walking around, just doing absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, they don't even let people see the gun. Could you imagine if they did that? They would be tearing Microsoft apart. But for some reason, this is like, oh, this is just Kojima, and like this is PlayStation, this is groundbreaking. And I'm just like, no, this is almost like a double standard, because if Microsoft was to do something like this, heck, we had somebody on Salty's show who's actually an outspoken Sony fan, aka a pony, actually put in the chat that said if this was on Xbox, they would be having a field day with this, creating GIFs and tearing it down.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that just think, let's not say it's Gears. Let's say this is one of Xbox's new IPs.
Oh, man, they would kill it. They would kill it.
Oh, dude, they'd be like, this is what you're getting out of Game Pass. This is what all their developers are creating. This is
right.
Microsoft.
And I couldn't defend this. Only thing I can say is, look, you asked for a AAA visually looking game. You got it. That's it. There's nothing else. That's,
oh my God, dude!
No,
we would not hear the end of it.
Crazy.
Yo,
Yeah.
Centurion, one thing I will say here, because there are gonna be kind of like Xbox comparisons and stuff like that. Now, did you notice when Gears 5 opened up a little more and gave you a little more room to travel and find places where, as you beat the swarm, you would get upgrades to your jackpot and stuff like that, and people are like, man, I don't know. I wish they put more enemies into those open areas. I wish they were more alive and stuff like that. And then I look at the gameplay here. Now, granted, there are points where, he's bringing his shipment to an area like the city or like this depot over here, and he runs across the strand and stuff like that. But let's be honest, like, what do you see mostly when he's walking around?
Just the environment.
Nothing.
It's built on the same engine as Horizon Zero Dawn. And Horizon Zero Dawn, you couldn't go a couple feet without a freaking robot walking around at least.
True, right.
Dude, and that's the one thing. It's like I see people, definitely like the PlayStation extremists out there. They are holding this up and praising it. And I'm like, you guys were going in on Gears about having emptier areas, which are in, let's be real, which are in like an Arctic environment where people are not just going to hang out there and kind of like, no pun intended, just chill out in the middle of an iced over lake or in the middle of a hot ass desert, right? But they wanted more life in these areas. But then you look at this and all you see is moss and stone. That's it.
And by the way, sorry, I got to be going, man.
All right, brother. Well, you are gonna go, and why don't you let people know the show you're going to now, and you are on a couple different podcasts, and let them know about your YouTube channel as well, man.
Well, he was my first ever podcast, and he is basically my home away from home when it comes to podcasting, because he was my first podcast. It was with PTK Blam on the Shop podcast.
Nice.
So I look forward to being there every Saturday and chilling with them. Him, Stagger, Fuzzy Belvedere. They're a great group of guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find me there Saturdays at 6 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. Eastern. I also do Saltiest Gaming Podcast on Thursdays. And I'm also now on the group with the Xbox Roundtable TXR on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern with Invader, Megatron, Tim Dog, Southbound, and Shockley. So it's actually been fun podcasting. That's why I said, man, whenever you need help or you want to just do something, hit me up.
All right, no doubt, brother. And thank you again, like I said, for answering the call. I had an absolute blast, and you will be on this channel again. The more you say yes, the more I'm gonna be like, we're gonna have Centurion here. We're gonna bring Centurion on, man. I love your opinions when it comes to the gaming news, man.
I love being able to chat with all you guys, everybody here, man, including Predator, who just got here. I've been listening to you guys forever, so it's just even an honor to be sitting here.
He smelled Death Stranding, and he's like, man, I got to get in on this one.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
guys have a good night.
Yo, tell PTK Blam that everybody on next podcast we said what up, man, and guys have a great show. All right.
Hey, you too, man. Thank you again. You guys have yourselves a good one.
No doubt,
Thanks
brother.
for bye, man.
All right. So before we get, I guess Pred is here, which
Yep,
is
I just popped
awesome.
in.
But before we get to him, because he was late, we got to get to my brother Dirt. Now, yo, Griggity, I gotta ask, man, did you watch this gameplay? Did you get excited? And were you like, man, we're finally gonna find out exactly what this game is? Did you check it out?
I did watch it. I watched it in its entirety.
So now you know exactly what it's about, right?
Norman Reedus is a drug dealer.
Oh, God.
no.
I mean, he has to be a drug dealer, right? All them packages
Yeah.
and the baby is like letting him know when the other guys that's trying to stop him from dealing drugs is I don't know what the hell, man. This damn game. Let me tell you something, man. I'm not one of those Xbox guys that hate on PlayStation. I actually enjoy the PlayStation. I really do enjoy their games. And I'm trying to like this game. I'm still trying to be interested in this game. Bro, this game right here is some shit I just can't even pretend that I'm interested in anymore. I mean, even the initial trailer when he had the baby and he was in the black goo, like, yeah, that's weird, but it's Kojima.
But it looks cool, like
It's interesting. Then over these past few years, it's just got worse and worse. I went from I'm interested in it to what the hell is this shit? And I just don't know what to say about this game, man. Like I mentioned, I do enjoy PlayStation exclusives, and this one looks good, just like you guys are saying. Graphically, it looks great. It's on a great engine, but the world is just empty. I don't know, man.
I mean, there's most definitely a meaning to why the world is like this. Like,
I'm sure about that. Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, out of the 50 minutes of gameplay, I would say almost half of it was just him walking over mountains and through grass, like
it was.
and I mean, I'm trying to give it some leeway here. Like, it's not really gonna be like that, but Kojima said, like, with this chunk of gameplay, basically you're gonna kind of understand what it's about, and that's what I'm seeing.
But then also, I'm sorry about that noise. Also, then you see the stuff that he showed. Was it early this morning? About the hub. Working. He has this little hub where like Norman Reedus is in a room and you can customize him and change his outfit.
Oh, yeah, just
change his hat.
Don't look at his crotch though too much.
Don't look at his crotch, and then he takes a shit and it's like some blue. I don't I don't know. He pisses and it's red. Some red. I don't know if he can make bombs out of his a waste. But he took a piss and then it was like some type of red tubes. Then he took a number 2 and it was like some blue tubes. I was like, what the hell is going on in this game, man? So anybody in the chat, because you let me know, really, because I have no idea, man.
Let our brother Dirt, shine some light on the subject for our brother Dirt Griggity, because he doesn't know what he watched.
I don't know, bro. I'm sorry. I tried to understand it. I can't, man.
I will also say, because there is some combat here, and I think you're gonna be seeing it as we're talking as well. There was a big kind of like dark like monster, and I was like, oh shoot, here we go when it comes to like combat and stuff like that. And for the most part, all Norman Reedus did was chuck like smoke grenades at him. That hit the monster and blew up in like orange smoke, and that was pretty much how he was taking it out. I was like, man, I don't know. Yo, Predator, what's up, Predator? Predator, are you here? You were here. No? All right, moving on. Damn it. Don.
Yeah.
Don. All right, I got to ask you. Did you watch this Death Stranding gameplay?
Yeah, I did.
Wow, you're another one that took a breath before. Like that is like 3 3, 4 in a row, maybe. But dude, you gotta let me know what did you think? Do you know what's going on in this game now?
I feel like Kojima needs to tell me what I should think about it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is if you can't figure out what a product is in the first 5 minutes, a fail. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be ice cream. It could be a video game, right? And if you're not able to capture the audience in the first 5 minutes, I think it's a marketing mistake. I think he's a very talented individual. The game looks gorgeous, but
Graphically, it's amazing graphically.
even me, like, it's a very positive person. Like, even if it's a game that I'm not into, I always try to find who would be into this game, right? Who would actually enjoy it? Who should I suggest it for, right? And I don't even know who I suggest this for. I really don't, and that's a real issue. Like, I can watch like what is it, half an hour of gameplay and don't know who I would recommend it for. Because I don't even know if I would recommend to a Kojima fan.
Yo, I just want to say, Don, there's people on social media that have compared the exploration of what you're seeing with this gameplay to Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but at least I was able to pick up a stick and slap an enemy with it.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, I know what the game's about. I get the premise. So yes, there's exploration, but there's crafting and all these other things, right? Like there's hooks that I can say, okay, I know somebody that may like this sort of game, or hey, this is not your normal Zelda, but I think if you like this game, maybe you may like that game. I'm looking at this and I just don't know who I recommend it for, and that's kind of the issue that Death Stranding has, and I think he's a brilliant individual, but I think sometimes, and I've said this before on podcasts, right? Sometimes certain publishers and certain studios, right, are not good marriages. And I don't know if Sony is the best studio for Kojima or best publisher for Kojima. And it's not that means Sony is a bad publisher. I think they're a great publisher, but I don't think that it's a good match. I think he honestly, his next whatever masterpiece, if he does create another one, is going to be a game like a publisher that's an American publisher, somebody that kind of reel him in a little bit, right?
Yeah,
But
he definitely needs to be reeled in a little
yeah,
bit, brother.
but you have to have some of that weirdness, otherwise it's not a Kojima game. Like
Yeah.
or some of that depth of thinking, or makes you think past the surface. That's what I think makes a lot of his games special to people. So it just kind of, that's where it's at. Like I'm like, okay, now you're driving around in a truck. I just don't. I'm looking at this. I'm like, I don't know if this is fun for people. I don't know who I recommend it to, and I guess that's the borderline problem. Who do you recommend this game to?
When they showed this, they just showed like the combat here, the monster, and stuff like that. Like, I might have a slightly different opinion. My whole thing is the amount of time you're by yourself wandering through kind of like this barren landscape, even though it looks absolutely incredible graphically. I like, to me, this chunk of gameplay tells me that you're gonna be by yourself a lot, and you're
Also,
gonna.
the same environment a lot too. That's the other thing I've seen.
That's a great
And
point as well.
in a lot of games, the environment changes. Like that's something you look forward to. That kind of drives the player forward.
Dude,
Like,
I couldn't wait to get out the Arctic in Gears, man. Like when I got towards the end of Act 2, it was about that time. It was, I'm like, couldn't get out.
exactly. Imagine if that rest of that game was all nothing but snow. It wouldn't be as enjoyable. So
No.
there's something about going to new environments that look fresh and look new and look different. I mean, I'll use Halo 5 for example. Like when you landed on that planet where you met Cortana, that was like, oh, this is cool, right? I really enjoyed that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when when you're in Destiny, you go to a different planet. Like you want to go to more locations that don't look like more of the same. And I guess this is the other part of it. So I don't know. He's trying his own thing. It's his own experiment. I hope it finds his audience. I wish him the best of luck. But it's starting to be very prevalent to me why, if you pitch what he showed us so far, I would see him having a hard time, even with his name, getting getting a publisher to sign up for this game.
Hmm.
I mean it's starting to become a little bit more transparent. Maybe why certain people did not sign up with them, because this is whatever concept he had, this would just be a hard one to sell to somebody that has a bunch of money to try to fund it. So
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely, and like I said, I'm trying to give the game leeway, but let's be real here. What Kojima is showing here isn't really helping his case, at least in my opinion. I don't know, but
well, the other weird thing is, like, I think Mega said this earlier, is just like, man, I look at this game, I'm like, man, I wish Sony had Game Pass. Like, I really do, because I think I would be a little bit more open to trying it out, right?
well, don't worry, they're restructuring PlayStation now, and
Well, I'm sure eventually they'll address it, right? But like, what a perfect game for that, where people don't know, you don't know how to market it to the public, but it's one of those games you have to get in your hand. Say if it's one of those, right?
yeah.
And now you're actually getting people to try it, and the same sort of thing with Game Pass. Sometimes people buy the game after this available on Game Pass, because they don't always stick with Game Pass. Every gamer's different. So, this is the type of thing I do wish Sony did have a Game Pass, because I would be a little bit more open and come up with a different perspective, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Predator, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Nothing. I just got home. I was trying to get set up.
Dude, you smelled the Death Stranding, and you're like, dude, I got to get in on the show, right?
When I heard, I don't know who that was. It jumped off a while ago. When I jumped in,
Centurion.
Centurion. Yeah, I was like, man, y'all already doing outros already? It's like it's barely 8:00. I was like, man, y'all must have had a quick show.
Yeah, like when Pred's not here, we end on time, and when he is, we go like 45 minutes later.
Oh man.
Well, Pred, I know you like to kind of like be in the loop when it comes to the gaming news and stuff like that. Did you get a chance to watch this huge chunk of Death Stranding gameplay?
Man, it's like 45 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
So you liked it then?
Yeah. No, not at all. Matter of fact, like I kind of fast forward through some of it to figure out like this part here. I think I skipped through this. I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. By the time I got through that section where he was like the combat that was on when what's his name was talking,
Centurion?
No.
Don
was talking a minute ago. Sorry.
He forgot Don's name.
Yeah, right.
That.
I got to that combat part of it and I stopped watching it. Like this part, I didn't even see it. I was so fed up with what I'd seen at that point. I was like, this is some bullshit. And
well, this section right here, like graphically, it looks really cool with kind of like the black goo and the stuff floating and stuff. The monster looks really cool. But then when you watch the fighting, he's just chucking smoke grenades at him, man.
I almost part of me wants to think that maybe they're holding back a little bit because they don't want to give the game away. But even if they are holding back, like what I've seen so far, it's just like, man, what the fuck is this game? Like I should know by now. I feel like I should know what this game is by now. As a consumer, I should know something more about it. Like when we gave Gears that smoke, what I'm saying, for not showing gameplay, we knew what Gears was though. Like we just didn't know the story. We didn't see the gameplay for it, but we had to play Gears. This is Gears 5. Like we played it 4 times already, So like we kind of know what Gears is and where the story was going. This is a brand new game. And like Don was saying, like you haven't sold anybody on it yet. And I know some people are like, oh, this game's amazing, it looks great. And there's the fact that there's a 50-50 right now on it, maybe even like a 70-30 on it. Like people who are like 30% love it, 70% don't. They have no fucking clue what it is. That right there should be like an eye-opener for you. Like I think here's the crazy part. I think the game's still gonna fucking like kill it on sales.
Dude,
just because
100 million, PS4 consoles out there, Kojima's name behind it.
Yeah, and I think that's what's gonna his name, and the fact there's so many consoles out there, and the fact that people just are gonna buy it because they don't know what the fuck it is. It's almost genius. Like I'm gonna sell you a game.
Genius.
What about like? Do you think it's gonna be maybe possibly like a No Man's Sky situation where a bunch of people were excited to hype for it to buy it, and then
they get it, they're like, what the fuck?
They're unhappy and they want to return it.
I can feel that too.
Yeah,
I can definitely feel you on that. Like,
I don't I just wish it does well, but I cringe. I don't know if it is or not. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing. Like you don't know, and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
at this point, you should know what the game is. Like you're toting a baby in a fucking Hennessy bottle, and you're carrying fucking luggage
do you
like you're
just call it a
going.
Hennessy bottle?
Yeah, you're carrying luggage like you're going to the fucking Mexico for a fucking month with the whole family. Like I'm like
What
I
with I forgot seeing the person throwing the person in the white throwing the shit. I forgot that part right there.
Oh yeah.
Like save minion or something.
I don't know what the fuck that. Like I'm still looking. It's like why the fuck is this guy in white here? Like there's so much like. And here's the really fucked up part about this. It's gonna get nominated for Game of the Year.
You
And I
think
think we
so?
all.
Like that
And
was my next question to the panel.
I
It's an
Keely-
artsy game. It's an
Keely-
artsy game, and he's
it's
got
a Sony game. It's got Keeley behind it. Like,
Well,
even
he's
if
also
it
got it
wasn't,
in with all the publications, right? Like they like him,
yeah.
and that's who you get nominated by.
I mean, in hindsight, do you guys think that fucking Metal Gear should have got was it Game of the Year when he came out with that game?
Metal Gear is the
got
most
10.
overrated game this generation.
It got solid. It got
tens, right?
It got perfect.
Now
score.
looking back, do you guys think that game should have gotten tens?
No,
Absolutely not.
That game,
The game was terrible.
Nobody.
So it got clout because of who it was, and I think this game is going to get clout because of who it is, and it's going to get high scores. It's going to probably sell pretty well, and if it doesn't get nominated for Game of the Year, or at least in the category of some kind of a Game of the Year award, like some kind of award, I would be shocked. Mainly because who's behind it and who's hosting this fucking show, like.
Well, Brian Baker in the chat brings up a good point. He was like, sometimes
hey Twinkie.
Twinkie in the chat said sometimes those late November release games, they get nominated the next year around. Do you think Sony might be trying?
It's going against behemoths next year.
Well, maybe bury it. Maybe
the year to do it.
Get all the money they can from sales. And
here's a shocker for you. Remember Assassin's Creed Origins, I think? Yes. It came out in like November. It didn't get put in for Game of the Year. They missed it the whole next year too.
Neither did Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Neither any of the Tomb Raiders got nominated.
It wasn't even a consideration. Both of those games.
Well, all three of them. Remember the definitive edition, the Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. None of those Tomb Raiders seen the light of day. Neither did Shadow of War, which I think is an absolute fucking crime. Because after I beat that game, I was like, why did I wait so long to play that game? That game was absolutely fantastic.
Look at he's boiling his baby, man.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yo, we're in the orange kind of like
water
hot spring here or something like that. Like, yo,
it is not even really water. It looks like it's some kind of goo. I know people keep saying it's urine. I would
diarrhea, man.
But it's something else, man.
Man, I wouldn't drink that. I tell you what,
shitty piss water, man.
But the part where he's singing to the baby is the illest of the ill, man. Like what?
Hey, but I gotta be fair. There are a lot of PlayStation guys that's kind of like, what the hell is this shit? I mean, of course, there's some that's like, oh, it's gonna be great. It's Kojima,
dude,
but
people compare this blows my mind. People are like, I see elements of Stranger Things in here. I see exploration like Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, Breath of the Wild, when you turn corners, there was like enemies there. There was stuff to do like while you were going to where you were going. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure the environment and the story, there's a reason why it's so barren and stuff like that. And you put kind of like all the trailers and gameplay together, and you do get more of a picture. But like I said, my biggest concern, and I want to know with you guys, my biggest concern is how much I have seen the main character by himself just walking with packages on his back. Like it seems like that is the meat.
Maybe they're not false advertising. They're like, this is what it is.
Kojima wouldn't be like, hey, if you trust me, you don't have to watch this. If you don't trust me and you have questions about the game and about the gameplay, then watch this 50 minutes right here. So this is it, guys. This is what the game is, coming from the guy who created it.
And just for a minute, just think about this. We normally see games that give out, they'll have like IGN stuff like that. They'll do gameplays for about an hour or so. But this was Kojima and whoever's that's supporting this game forcing this hour on gamers, because to me it seems like somebody must have let him know or told him that, look, there are a lot of people that's skeptical about this game because they don't know what's going on. So maybe if you show a 50-minute clip of 50 minutes of gameplay, things like that, then they'll ease our the people that's help supporting the game. Because that's how I think about it. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I just think that's kind of odd to put so much gameplay for a game when we've already seen hours of gameplay as it is.
And the gameplay is pretty much the same thing we've seen, though.
Yes, that's the problem.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see when it does release. I think Twinkie in the chat made a great point about like the game of the year and stuff like that. Like, when games come out in November, I don't think they necessarily get considered for game of the year. But if this game is within that window, what do you think, K Mega? Is this going to be, from what we've seen so far? Of course, the game's not released yet, but does this look like people are going to vote on this as being a game of the year contender?
You need to pay the bills first.
Oh shoot! Yeah, what is up, Sir X-Man and Atrocity Knights? Guys, hitting up that super chat, showing love and support for the show. Sir X-Man says, "Should his boots be soaked?" Yo, brother, that's why his feet are so bad at the end. I didn't even put that out there. Like, they showed his feet and they were wretched, brother. And Atrocity Knights, he says Death Stranding wants to be a new genre, monsters from a parallel world that wants to. Oh man, my chat just jumped. Hold on. Monsters from a parallel world that wants to take over the world. Sounds like a game that's already out. It's called Astral Chain. Ooh, brother.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're too hyped for the game, then, man. I don't know.
But to answer your question, this game has it has to get nominated now, or it has no chance whatsoever next year. You got Cyberpunk, you got Halo, you got The Last of Us 2. Hell, I can't even think of anything else. There's going to be so many dope ass games coming out next year.
The Avengers.
Yeah, the Avengers. There's too many.
I want to play that too.
Too many games that's going to be coming out. That's going to be heavy hitters. That had Ori and the Blind Forest. That's definitely going to
Watch
be
Dogs.
Yeah, Watch Dogs. This
Did
is
you say Mud Runners?
No, he didn't. No.
No. Wake me up when you talk about Mud Runners.
Okay, all right. Go back to sleep then.
You're gonna be sleeping for a while.
But yeah, no. But it's just like with the Astral Chain. That game looks absolutely phenomenal. That game looks dope as hell. I've been watching. A couple of people been showing that game. That game looks fun as hell. That's the type of game you would expect to have the opportunity to be nominated for Game of the Year. This game, if it gets in, not saying that it won't be good, it's too out there to be comprehended. And I know that may sound crazy because people want newer and different games, but this game hasn't shown anything to anybody. And by the time that they have the awards in December, and the people that's going to be playing this in November, it's not going to. It shouldn't be enough time for people to like, oh, I get it now, when they've been showing at least 2-3 hours of damn gameplay from this game.
Dude, it's gonna be so interesting when this game releases. I think I am gonna watch like a couple live streams of people who decide they're gonna live stream it and stuff like that. I want to see like how much it is just you by yourself, basically traveling to a place to deliver boxes. You know what I'm saying? If that's not really the most when it comes to the gameplay, if you're not really doing that a lot and you're getting into other things and it kind of retains like an interest level, I'm like, all right, cool. Moving forward. All right, well, they did their thing. No matter how out there the story is and stuff like that, you have a gamer who's engaged, who is finding new things, who has interesting things just like right around the corner. But if it is the bulk of it is just wandering through this barren world, I don't see it as even close to a game of the year contender. But of course, the graphic whores out there are gonna absolutely love it. They're gonna be like, "This game looks amazing." I'm like, "Yeah, but how does it play?" "Oh no, it plays good, but it looks amazing."
Those people that were saying that's all caring about frames per second and all that's it, that they dropped to 25 frames per second. Now they could patch that, but that game already looks slow as it is. So I mean, I don't know, man. I don't get it, man. I mean, you would think a game that moves slow pace like this game would be just locked at 30 frames per second.
Now, shout out to Michelle in the chat, because guess what? You hit the nail right on the head. There is no contender for Game of the Year next year. It's going to be Battletoads. All the way. Just sweeping the awards all the way through. It's going to get every single one.
Seems like it's time to wrap this show up.
Have we gone too far?
Yeah,
Battletoads, man.
You know when you got a friend that's drunk a little too much, and you just got to take him home.
Oh,
right.
This is Xbot right now. We got to take him home.
Is somebody drunk?
Well, you know what? Not yet, but they will be.
But they will be. But yo, guys, on that note, it is Saturday. The gamers got a game. I want to give a huge shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I hope you are as entertained listening to our thoughts and opinions, watching the show, as we are doing the show for you guys. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait. Like, as soon as the show is over, I can't wait for next Saturday and just kind of getting in and seeing what topics we're going to talk about on a weekly basis. And you guys make it all possible. You guys support the channel. You guys support the show. And I got to say thank you. Thank you to everybody out there. And everybody who watches the show afterwards. Thank you guys so much as well, because I know not everybody can tune in prime time on a Saturday night. Happy wife, happy life. I know when it comes down to it, there's other things that sometimes need to be done. So I just want to say I appreciate all the support from you guys. But like a 40-year-old with a comb over, we got to get those plugs in. And I'm going to start with the man. It's his debut on my channel, and I gotta say, Dirt Griggity, I think you knocked nothing but home runs. I had a blast talking, the gaming news and stuff with you today. I hope you had fun with us, and I hope that you decide at some point in time you want to come back and hang out with the next podcast crew. But right now you got to get your plugs in, brother. So let people know about your podcast and what you're doing on YouTube and where they can go to talk games with you, brother.
Oh, well, thank you, man. I appreciate the invite, man. I had a blast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't invite J Dubs either, man. He was not coming on. This was your night to relax and talk about the gaming news, brother.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. But listen, check out my channel, Dirt Griggity on YouTube. Also on Twitter, just follow me at Griggity. I'm a positive Xbox guy. I love gaming. That's what I like to do. Also, I have a podcast. It's usually on Wednesday nights at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. It depends on if I'm on Crap Show. But it's called Scram Punks on my channel. But we're thinking about changing it to Monday nights. So, yeah, just come on my channel. Check it out, man.
Nice, brother. And I will put out the link in the description once this thing finishes processing and everything like that. But definitely follow Dirt on Twitter, and he puts out when the show is going live. He puts out a lot of comments and stuff like that on there. You can definitely get to his show, his channel through that. Predator came in late. He heard us talking. I'm gonna get you for that one day, brother. I am, seriously. He heard us talking Death Stranding, man. He had to come in and share his thoughts and opinions, and I feel him on that. I can understand it is a hot topic right now. So it was good to have you on, Predator. Why don't you let people know where they can go to talk games with you, and if you have any plans on showing up on any shows throughout the week, you can let them know right now.
Not anything planned other than maybe a crap show on Wednesday and maybe Mooch's show on Friday, and who knows where else I'll show up. Follow me, Predator_H2OS on Twitter, on Xbox Live, on PlayStation, and on Pornhub.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, you got me right in the middle of the vape there. Oh my goodness. Yo, shout out to Lee Croft. He told me lay off the crack, Xbot, and then he goes Crackbot448. I might use that name one day. All right, Don, like I said at the beginning of the show, it was good to see you come in and share your thoughts and opinions as usual. You being a developer, you give a different perspective on the gaming news and topics that are hot throughout the week. I always love when you join us, and why don't you let people know what you're doing on Mixer? I know you're streaming Gears with a couple raggedy gamers, so you're probably holding the team down there. Let them know about that and where they can go to talk games with you, brother.
Yeah, the best thing to do is follow me on Twitter. The link to everything I'm involved in is on there, including Mixer. So definitely, that's my link to follow me on Mixer. Yes, I was planning on playing and finishing Gears of War tonight, but apparently somebody is getting his hair done. I don't know what's going on.
That Jerry curl drip, baby.
Yes. he found Rogaine, and now he has to get his hair done. But anyways, that being said, we probably will be streaming that tomorrow, I'm assuming. And I might be playing some other game tonight.
Early.
I got plans tomorrow, so there's a certain window we got.
Okay. All right. So
nice. And of course,
about it.
Of course, somebody who's been with me from the beginning. I'm talking about when we were planning this show out, like the beginning. Mega, I do gotta say thank you for sticking with me. I know we were talking about this show, and it didn't even get started until like maybe 3 months after we're like, okay, we're gonna do this. And dude, ever since then, it's always a blast to come and talk games with you every Saturday. You are a part of my family, man, and I appreciate everything you do, all the effort and energy you give every Saturday. But you gotta let people know about your YouTube channel, GRG, and of course where they can go to talk games with you, brother.
Man, yes, thank you so much for the kind words, man. It's been a fun road all the way through, man. We've been doing this from the very beginning, like you said, man, and these are you like family, man. So it's just. It is what it is, man. And then the rest of the cast, except for Pred, I welcome them all, man. It's brothers in arms. Pred,
we've definitely throughout the years, man. We've had great panels.
Can't fuck with him. Anyway, but
how are you gonna dog the guy that fights for your freedoms like that, man?
Yeah, his old dusty ass ain't fighting no more. That gun's hung up, man. He's going to another soldier. He's over there pushing paperwork, man.
You see, he's using it as a back scratcher.
He's using this gun as a back scratcher.
Like, what has Pred done for me?
Shit now.
Yeah. I remember that when we were evacuating for aliens. I'm on the helicopter. I'm like,
oh shit!
Yo, no.
Fred's like, you can come, and you have to stay.
Oh shit, Predator! Anyway, but
emotion.
Oh, shit. Okay, but check out my channel at it's KMega405. Man, yeah, GRG. We didn't have a show this week, man. We was trying to get through Gears. We got there. We're almost done. I know. I was planning on doing it, but something came up, and so I cannot be there. I cannot make it tonight.
Get your hair done.
We'll be ready to do it. Yeah, man. Yeah. Got to get my fake beard trimmed. But so the
spray on beard.
Yeah. Some people said I got spray on beard. It's kind of funny because I'm growing a beard now. So also Twitter. You know what I'm saying? At KMega4. Come check me out. It's always a blast, man. Twitter is it's fun. It's toxic, but I kind of alleviated the toxic stuff and just move on from that. And then just go in there and just talk about games. And then also, man, just go and support everybody on here, the guests, panel, and the people on GRG, man. Go and subscribe. Help us out, man.
You guys,
we all want the support, man. We all talk about gaming. We're about gaming. So, I mean, I think that's what you guys want to hear and want. in need, and so that's what we do, man. So support us, man.
Yeah, no doubt. If you guys want a show where you have no idea what is going to happen, where you're talking about games, but you have no idea where the conversation is going to go, absolutely entertaining. You guys got to check out GRG on Friday nights. It is an amazing show to either watch or when I can jump into the hangout, be a part of. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. K Mega's channel. Other than that, guys, Gamers Got a Game. It is Saturday night. We got to get the controllers in our hands. Again, thank you so much for checking out next podcast, and I'm going to end the show the way I do every week. We will check you guys out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody. No crazy.
Nobody didn't say nothing this time.
Nobody
said
crazy. No crazy.
Mhm.
We're not doing that.
Predator!
Okay, there we go.
About your J curls.
Oh,
Oh, man.